What's up guys, Brunsnick's back, and in the last Sarge Easter video I talked about why I use the Sarge Easter Grip and how I got there. In this video I'm going to talk a little bit more about the technical aspect of the grip and the problems you might encounter when trying it for the first time. Before we get into all that, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Now, let's dive into the technical side of Sarge Easter Grip. Now, ever since the original video came out, I've been getting a lot of questions about the grip and how someone might be able to use it. Or in some cases, they've already tried converting one of their bowling balls to Sarge Easter and are currently having problems. So I'm going to go over some of the issues, some of the common issues that you might encounter when trying this grip for the first time. This video might actually help save some time and save some hassle of having to plug things and re-drill them. So let's get into some of the common issues. Number one, strain and rubbing on the ring finger. So the common problem that I see when people are trying the Sarge Easter Grip is that when they're drilling the ring finger, they're not using enough reverse pitch and they're not using enough lateral pitch. The other common issue I see is that they're using too much bridge. So when they're drawing their bridge lines, they're drawing it too wide. I always recommend that you use no more than 3/16 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch maximum when drawing your bridge lines. The wider the bridge you use, the more strain it's going to cause on the inside of this ring finger, causing pain. The whole idea of the Sarge Easter Grip is for people that have tendonitis in their hand or an injury in their hand where they want to use the ring finger and take it out of play. So that's exactly what you should feel when you put your hand in the ball, especially the ring finger, that you don't feel the ring finger actually in the ball doing anything. It should set in there in the ring and not feel a thing. So when you use a wider bridge, that creates more tension between the fingers, and combine that with not using enough right pitch for a right-hander, you're going to have severe rubbing issues on this side. I've seen issues where people are actually tearing the skin, and that's something you absolutely don't want. So the number one way you can create a more comfortable grip is by using a lot less bridge. Now in this ball I use 3/16 bridge, but because of how the fingers are offset, you can see that there's still plenty of distance between the actual middle finger and the ring finger. But drawn off the center line, this is only 3/16 of an inch. That's very important. So don't use too much bridge when you're using the Sarge Easter Grip. 3/16 is what I recommend. If you have pretty wide fingers, you could probably use 1/4. Don't go more than 1/4 inch bridge. Now let's talk about the pitches of the ring finger. Now pitches can vary for a whole lot of reasons. In typical conventional drilled bowling balls for a beginner, you're typically not going to use a lot of reverse pitch. In the Sarge Easter Grip, since you have a fingertip drill in the middle finger, which does most of the work, the ring finger's role is just there for support and shouldn't be involved in the actual lift or rotation of the ball. Because of that, we tend to use a lot more reverse pitch. A lot of factors come into play when talking about how much pitch I actually need to use. How much pitch you should use is completely dependent on your hand, the flexibility, the moisture of your hand, and the total span. Those are the three main factors involved with determining how much reverse pitch you should actually use. A lot of this is done with trial and error. Very rare do you get it right on the first time. So don't go drilling every single ball. Don't go redoing your entire arsenal. I always recommend fitting one ball for your hand if you're in the process of trying the grip. And then once you dial it in to the point where you can bowl an entire tournament without having pain or without rubbing or anything of the sort, then it's time to move it on to other balls in your arsenal. For reference, in my ball, I use 3/4 reverse and 5/8 right lateral pitch. Now, it wasn't always this way. When I first started with Sarge Easter Grip, I started with only 1/4 reverse and 1/2 right. The first issue I ran into was that I was popping when I released the ball. So every time I came out of the ball, you hear a right? Normally that's not an issue, but for me it's a weird mental thing, so that's why I drill a vent hole for every ring finger I have. I like to keep the Sarge finger very snug, so that allows me to release it clean without hearing the annoying popping noise. So as I started to age, I actually got refit by Mo Pennell around 2016, 2017, and he shortened my span up a little bit, and we actually added more reverse. So at the time, I was using a quarter reverse, maybe a half, and he put me into 3/4 reverse. I was already 5/8 right. I never had issues with the rubbing. I don't use a lot of bevel, as you can see. So if you're having issues with the ring finger, beveling it out, trying to work it out, chances are that you're using too much bridge or not enough right pitch. Now, another issue you might run into is if you drill this finger, the ring finger, just a little bit too long, you're going to cause strain on the front part of your finger and cause strain stretching getting into the ball. That's another issue we don't want to have. We really need this finger to feel like it's in the ball, disappeared. That's the ideal fit. So all through your swing, you shouldn't feel any tension. Obviously, you should feel that your finger is in the ball, but it is not rubbing and it is not creating any tension throughout the swing. That is so important to create a low grip pressure throughout the whole swing. Another common issue you might run into when converting one of your existing balls to Sarge is that when you plug the ring finger and drill your conventional for it, you might feel like you are squeezing the ball or you're dropping the ball. What you'll find is that when you drill that conventional hole, your grip pressure will go down in your fingers and it'll almost feel like you have to increase your grip pressure with your thumb. Your span might feel a little bit short. Even though you didn't change anything from here to here, just by adding the ring finger to conventional, you might find that you're squeezing the ball all of a sudden. So what I have done myself and what I might recommend for you is to create a little bit more forward pitch in the thumb. So re-drill the thumb with a little bit more forward. So how much pitch should you change in the thumb to get the feel right? Once again, that's going to be trial and error because there's so many variables. I don't know how your original ball was drilled or if it was even drilled in a manner that was correct. Chances are, if you're looking at changing your grip and trying the Sarge grip, you're having some major issues with your fingertip grip. So don't be afraid to add more forward pitch. So you might be a quarter reverse. I would say knock that down to an eighth and try from there. You always want to try in small increments. Don't just go from a quarter reverse to say, hey, I'm going to go a quarter forward. That is a huge change in pitch, and it's going to take a lot of getting used to. You might not like it whatsoever. So always make those changes incrementally. Sometimes if you have a small enough thumb, you can actually get away with a lot of pitch changes using an interchangeable thumb. You know, the tolerance of how much angle you can use without touching the sidewalls is actually pretty great, depending on your size of thumb, of course. So ultimately, the goal of this grip is to decrease your grip pressure. So hand and tendon issues that all come down the arm start with squeezing. So when your grip pressure goes up, especially in tournaments where the pressure is on, you're going to find that you're going to need a grip that allows you to relax. I've tried many things over the years, but in the end, the Sarge Easter Grip was the grip for me that gave me exactly the grip pressure I needed and allowed me to relax my hand and get through a tournament without any hand pain whatsoever. So that's my technical overview of the Sarge Easter Grip. I get a lot of questions. I wanted to make a video that addressed some of these problems and could help you out as you're trying the fit on this grip. Now, this grip isn't for everyone, so I don't always recommend it, but if you are having hand issues, if you're having tendon issues, if you're having cuticle issues, if you're having all the problems that come with like a fingertip grip, I really implore you to go get your grip checked from your local pro shop. Sometimes just small tweaks to your original grip are enough to get you back in the game bowling pain-free. But in extreme cases like myself and others, the Sarge Easter Grip can be a valuable tool in your bag. Having a fit that allows you to maintain your grip pressure on a lower basis and bowl 3 games, 8 games, bowl throughout a whole weekend without pain, sometimes this is the only answer. So if you have any questions or ideas for a future follow-up or issues that you might be having trying this grip, please put them in the comments below and I'll be glad to help you. There might be another video in the future if I see fit, or if there's enough problems that come up that warrant another video. But until then, please subscribe. Talk to you guys soon. This is the Sarge Easter Grip, my favorite grip of all time. Talk to you guys soon.